My name is Renz Baluyot and I'm a visual artist. In this video, I wish to tell you more about my show titled Empire. The show was exhibited at West Gallery from the 29th of October to the 28th of November 2020. I came up with the concept of Empire, hoping to make sense of the repercussions of the coronavirus pandemic to me and the structures of life as we know it. I wanted to make sense of everything in a season where our sense of time and place have been disrupted, and we were forced into a situation that we have never been confronted with before. I wanted Empire to talk about these feelings of restlessness and helplessness amidst the inevitable change. Something that Sigmund Freud coined in 1918 as a spectrum between mourning and melancholia during the Spanish flu pandemic. This is how I wanted the works in Empire to speak to the viewer. That while the grandeur of these structures of order was once monumental and imposing, changes will alter their prominence and turn them into rubbles as nature takes over. Having said all this, I wanted the works not only to speak of endings as beginnings, but also to convey hope that while circumstances will reduce us to disorder, in these ruins there is always something we can rebuild from as a society. All of the pieces in this exhibition are very traditional in the sense that each piece is an oil on canvas painting. The imagery of the places and objects have all been based from photos that I personally took during my bike trips around Cainta and Pasig City. I consider taking photos and collecting images from my trips and travels as part of my production process. The structures, objects, and sceneries that I use are particularly the ones that capture my attention when in transit, at times evoking unrealized feelings. I then translated these images to canvas. This has always been a part of my process in image making, as an attempt to bring back order and humanity to chaos. The main challenge, I think, as with many artists during that time, was how to produce a series of works in an ongoing global pandemic. The anxiety and the cabin fever everyone felt were seriously paralyzing. Producing installations with found objects was always a part of my recent one-person exhibitions. Since being limited in terms of mobility, I was not able to source out materials that I can use. The pandemic was for sure a big hindrance to my usual process of producing a variety of works, medium-wise. However, the discomfort the grave situation has brought led me to focus more on the process which I am most comfortable with, which is oil painting. The production process made me feel like everything makes sense, even if outside those confines was in a pretty bad shape. Empire was meant to serve as a symbolic representation of what was happening, a reassessment of what we were used to in terms of concepts of order, routine, and tradition. To end this presentation, let me read an excerpt from the show's exhibition notes. Although the silver lining may be found after all this, Baluyot focuses on what is essential to feel about the present. Like in his work Lost Empire, the ominous gates lead us to an uncharted and menacing era of what remains when we are powerless. It is then our decision if we decide to keep still or move amid these broken empires.